His case was one of mistaken identity. He was arrested and held in jail for 32 days without bail. Mr. Gilberto Gonzalez has experienced a tremendous change in his life as a result of this experience. Here to discuss this case is Gilberto Gonzalez, and with him his attorney, Mike Roman. Gentlemen, welcome to our People Los Hispanos.
Thank you.
Gilberto, how do you feel after experiencing this this tremendous experience? I'm sure it has it has given you some gray hairs.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. How long did it take for this whole case to be resolved?
About 3 or 4 years.
3 or 4 years?
Yes.
Oh my goodness, that's a long time. 32 days, Mike, that's a long time to keep a man in jail without bail. What is that accustomed? Are you accustomed to seeing this kind of case?
I've seen longer periods of time. I believe that the problem in this case was that my client, Mr. Gonzalez, and his family couldn't raise the bond money, the bail money.
Mm-hmm.
That's the reason for 32 days. However, I believe if the police department had verified his alibi, he would never have been placed incarcerated to begin with.
Mm-hmm. Before I want to ask you about that particular point, but what was bail?
The amount of the bail, I believe, after motions for reduction, came to $25,000.
$25,000. Do you think
Right.
that's a fair bail?
I thought it was excessive in view of the fact that Mr. Gonzalez didn't have a previous record.
Uh-huh.
Was 20 years old at the time, just married, working. So I believe on that basis it was excessive, yes.
Do you think well, it's hard. You feel that this was done to your client because of discrimination?
Well, I think the main focus of this whole situation is one of two cultures colliding. You have a Hispanic man that's accused of a rape, kidnapping, and armed robbery, and at the time he didn't speak English too well. As a result, he was not able to communicate and
Mm-hmm.
convey his alibi properly to the police officers. They nevertheless understood the alibi, and his alibi was that on the night of the alleged rape, which was October 14 of 1978 at about 7:30 p.m., he had been several miles away from the site of the rape. He was getting married, celebrating his own wedding at the reception before over 100 people.
Uh-huh.
When it all started, I'm sure Gilberto will tell you that while jogging, running on 99th and Ewing on the south side of Chicago near Calumet Park, he found a wallet, a woman's wallet. And he decided to call her up, and after making arrangements to return the wallet, when he arrived at the woman's house, the police officers were waiting for him and they put him in jail. Now he told them that on October 14th he was at his wedding, so he could never have done that.
You said, Mike, that he communicated as best he could.
Yes, and it was...
What did the police tell you, Gilberto, when you told them that you weren't there?
Well, they didn't, they really don't listen to me,
They didn't listen at all?
No.
And so for 32 days, they didn't bother to check his alibi?
That's correct. In fact, it was longer than that, because after he was bonded out in February of 1979, we had to go to several court hearings, and the state's attorneys and the police officers and investigators, they, in my opinion, they dragged their feet in terms of getting out and verifying the alibi. All they had to do is call the priest, call the hall manager or any of the witnesses, the band, anybody else. He had contracts, he had wedding invitations, all sorts
of the
evidence.
documents that you needed.
That's true.
You didn't offer these to the police?
Yes.
Yeah. And they just didn't pay any attention?
Yeah.
Are your parents living in Chicago?
Yes.
What went through your mind, Gilberto, and I don't know, I'm kind of placing myself in Gilberto and thinking, what would I do? What went through your mind when the police came to your wedding and arrested you?
Well, excuse me, they didn't come to his wedding.
Oh, he didn't come to your wedding?
No.
Oh.
This happened 2.5 months after he got married.
Oh, okay, after his wedding.
And
okay.
they arrested him outside the house, the woman's house.
Did you already know that the police were considering you as a suspect?
No.
No? What went through your mind? This can't be happening to me.
Yeah.
You got to be kidding. Did you say that to yourself? I know I
Oh,
would
yeah.
have said it. You can't be doing that to me. What did you do? Did you call anyone in particular? Did you call Mike on this?
No, I called my wife.
Call your wife.
Yeah.
I guess it was sort of happened fast and you couldn't think of anything afterward.
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk a little bit about the technicalities of this case. No one bothered to examine the
in our opinion, this was the main reason why we decided to file a case in federal court for a violation of Gilberto's civil rights. One, we felt that the police department failed to conduct a reasonable investigation of the alibi. Two, we felt that the police officers wrongfully filed police reports. For instance, they did not include Gilberto's alibi, his whereabouts, or at least that he denied it.
You mean in the report that
In
the police
report,
did,
that's correct.
they didn't describe his response to their questions?
That's correct. Those police reports are very important, essential, and vital in terms of the police officers. They refer back to those police reports to refresh their recollection and also conduct a proper investigation. Now, needless to say, the investigation is supposed to be objective and unbiased. What took place here was that they wrote everything, and when I say they, it was the officers who were investigating, who we sued in federal court. They failed to write down his alibi. They wrote statements that he never made, and only any information or evidence that perhaps could be circumstantial or incriminating against Gilberto, that's what they wrote. Within the course of our investigation, we were able to ascertain that the woman's father, who's now a retired police sergeant.
You mean the person
Right,
who
the
was
victim.
raped? The victim?
Her father was a police sergeant.
Police officer.
A sergeant. He comes to the police station before any charges are actually filed against Gilberto, and it was proven in federal court that he had a conversation with one of the officers, and
he's not supposed to do that.
Well, we felt that there was undue influence, and that it was just a way to railroad Gilberto. For instance, when he showed up at the house, in the woman's house, the woman was in the second floor apartment. When she called the police and told them that he was the rapist. Now, she told the police that the rapist had pat marks and acne, severe acne. In federal court, we offered...
Roberto, you don't have severe acne. You got nice, clear skin.
We offered those pictures from the wedding. He was wearing a white tuxedo. The rapist supposedly was wearing sun rim glasses with an army jacket. Now, unless he was Superman, I don't see how he could leave his wedding in his absence being unnoticed. I mean, he's a groom. He's the center of attention.
The charges, have they been dropped?
They were dropped in '79, definitely, sure.
In '79.
Because, as you know, the state's attorney's office has a term period in which they must prove their allegations, or else they have to drop the case.
Was the victim Hispanic?
No, she was white.
Okay. Tell me, Gilberto, I understand you lost your job because of this.
Yes.
What did you do? What are you doing now?
Well, now I'm working.
Well, you found another job.
Yes.
But you actually lost your job because of this whole case.
Yes.
Why? Tell us why.
Well, because they put me in jail. Then when I get up in jail, I get another job and I lose it too.
Oh, because you couldn't go to the work because you were in jail.
Yes.
I see.
Because he had to go to court, see,
Yeah.
several times.
How do you feel about your experience today? You know, what kind of feelings are going through your mind? But you must have some kind of bitterness about this. Or are you feeling relieved that it's solved? Are you happy with the outcome?
Yeah.
Yeah?
I think that, as he told me in Spanish, he's happy that everything is already known, that he was not only exonerated in the criminal level, but also in federal court, whereas, you know, the city made a settlement with us. At the end of our case, they approached us and made a settlement rather than risk the jury
Yeah.
return a verdict
Risk.
against the police.
This happened here in Chicago. We're not talking about a suburb or anything. This is Chicago.
That's right.
Whereabouts were you living at this time, at the time that happened?
Here in Chicago.
In what street, what area?
Burley, 88.
88
Yeah,
Burley.
Yeah.
Is that heavily a Mexican area? Mexican community?
No,
No, it's mixed.
yeah.
Okay. Si quiere decir algo en español. Do you want to say anything in Spanish?
Está bien.
Está bien. Okay. Well,
Porque es mejor para mí, para poder desenvolverme mejor.
sí.
Bueno, pues yo lo único que quiero decir es de que ahora me siento a gusto, contento y puedo respirar más bien y ahora sí porque todo se terminó. Y que pues yo no cometí ninguno de los cargos que me estaban acusando.
You want to translate?
He says that I feel relieved, happy that I can now breathe easier and feel content that I was exonerated. I was proven that it was proven that it couldn't have been me that committed those crimes that I was charged with.
This is frightening. You know, it can happen to any person. You know?
To anybody, that's correct.
I'm sure there's cases of mistaken identity, especially in rape cases, where people are accused innocently.
Right. We never contended that the rape didn't take place, but there was certainly a case of mistaken identity coupled with some shenanigans on the part of the police officers involved in the case, definitely.
Well, Mike, thank you for bringing this to our attention and sharing this case. Gilberto, buena suerte en tu vida.
Muchas gracias.
Thank you for being with us and sharing us your experience, and hope that it doesn't happen again. Jeez.